everybody. Welcome to Under the Arch Sports. I'm Eric Hobbs.
And I'm David Woldingen.
And the Missouri Tigers are back in the NCAA Tournament. Let's talk about it. First, I need you guys to do me a favor and subscribe to our YouTube channel and find us on Facebook, Instagram, and on Twitter. David, Mizzou is back in the NCAA Tournament and feels good.
Yeah, I'm excited. It's one of the few times in a while I've actually been able to pick Missouri in the NCAA brackets. I can't tell you how many times I look through those brackets and I'm disappointed not to see them there. But guess what? They're back, baby. They're back.
Yeah, they are back, and they are in the South Regional, the 7 seed, taking on the 10 seed, the Utah State Aggies. Should Mizzou advance, they would play probably Arizona, who's the 2 seed. We're assuming they take care of business against the 15 Princeton. We'll see. They got to get there first. Mizzou has to get there first. And to do that, they've got to beat a Utah State team, David, that, quietly, out in the Mountain West, 26-8, second place in the regular season in the Mountain West. Lost in the Mountain West Conference Tournament championship game. Both times, San Diego State, the only team in front of them. So a good team. They're a 5 seed, San Diego State is. So, Utah State taking care of business for the most part in conference play.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know a whole lot about them, to be honest with you, because they're in the Mountain West. The only ranked team they played was San Diego State, and they lost to them. If you're taking a look at their record and breaking it down with quad wins, they had 2 quad 1 wins out of 5 total games. So they didn't play a lot of quad 1 teams in general. They were 9-1 in quad 2, 13-0 in quad 3 wins, and then they had 2 quad 4 losses, which probably is what dropped them all the way down to a 10 seed, if you're being honest. Just in comparison with Mizzou, Mizzou's only losses were quad 1 losses. Everything else, they took care of business, which if you look at across the board, only 7 teams were able to do that, and the other 6 were all 1 and 2 seeds. So kind of a head scratcher anomaly, especially the way the season's gone, but it is what it is.
Utah State was kind of an at-large team kind of a bubble team for an at-large bid. And, they kind of played their way off of the bubble with a pair of wins over Boise State, another 10 seed. So, they took care of business down the stretch to make sure that they were safely in the tournament. When you first saw Utah State as the opponent for Missouri, I think everybody kind of had one thought come to mind, 2 thoughts, I guess you'd say, come to mind. The first one, David, would be who? And the second one, if you actually were following and researching potential opponents and so forth, 3-point shooting.
I took a look at that, and my first thought was, oh, crap, just by the way we defend.
Yeah. Utah State, as a team, shoots almost 40% from 3. Yeah, 39 and change percent. 39.3, 39.5, I forget exactly what it is. Point is, really good. 4th best in the entire country. So, paired with Missouri's 3-point defense, that's the exact reason right there that a lot of people just thought ruh-roh as soon as the matchup was announced. It's a well-balanced attack, though, David.
Have 5 players in double-digit points. Starting with Steve Ashford right off the bat, he's your number 1 3-point shooter, averaging 16.3 points a game. He's also their point guard and probably the smallest guy in the court at 6'1". Then you have Taylor Funk. True. Then you have Taylor Funk averaging 13.3 points a game. He's 6'9", so he'll be in the front court. Then you have Max Shulga averaging 12.1 points a game. He's another guard on the outside who can hit the 3. Then you have Dan Aiken averaging 12 points a game. He's 6'9". And then you have Sean Bairstow averaging 10 points a game. And he's kind of that 3-4 type player. He's 6'7", so I'd equate him to kind of the Noah Carter type player, if you will.
Yeah. So Dave Matter had a very interesting article in the St. Louis Post-Dispatch. He talked with a bunch of Mountain West assistant coaches just to learn about Utah State and see what they had to say. And they were very, very complimentary about them offensively. They can light you up from three. They're well-rounded, as you just went through with the 5 guys averaging double digits. They're a very good free throw shooting team. They don't turn the ball over all that much. So it'll be interesting to see with Missouri's pressure defense going for steals and all that. Is it a scenario where Utah State just hasn't seen the athletes and the pressure that Missouri has? They've not seen someone like a Demoy Hodge going for a steal every single time the ball is in the air or dribbled. Is that a thing? We'll find out. Now, defensively, David, that's where Missouri, instead of looking at three-point shooting and being like, uh-oh, they look at defense for Utah State and you say, okay, all right, we can work with this because they're not elite defensively. They're not bad, but it's, in some ways not all that different from Missouri defensively.
The good news is that we're not playing a team like Tennessee, who is the number one defensive efficiency in the country, or in Alabama, who has the super, super long athletic body type that you have to shoot over all the time. This might be one of the few games where Missouri might have the advantage in size, in all honesty.
Yeah. So when you look at Utah State's defense, I mentioned they don't turn the ball over. They also don't turn you over. So for a Missouri team that's pretty good with the basketball, I think there's reason to hope that Missouri can keep the turnovers into single digits, which would be, that'd go a long way towards getting a win. I think there, as you mentioned, inside is going to be key. Dan Aiken is probably the best interior defender. 6'9", he's 225, and it's not a bulky, kind of wide 225. He's, I won't say skinny, but he is athletic. I'll say that. He's a capable shot blocker. So that's one where he might be able to hang a little bit outside. I personally think he's going to be the one guarding Kobe Brown. David, we've talked about this and you disagree, but I think Aiken will be on Kobe Brown for the most part. That Dave Matter article, one of the coaches said that Sean Bairstow, he is the best defender. And what the coach said is that he defends your best player. I don't think he can do that with Kobe Brown because while they're both 6'8", Bairstow is 180, 190. So he's given up 50, 60 pounds. So I don't think he can do that. Kobe would just play bully ball and there'd be no chance. I personally think he's going to end up defending Hodge. And, we'll see how that goes. Is he quick enough to run with Hodge, who is, when he wants to be, he is lightning around the perimeter. I also think, Trevin Dorius is their 7-footer, 7'1", 240. He's a starter, but he doesn't play the minutes that Aiken plays. So it's one of those where I don't know how often you'll see Aiken and Dorius on the court at the same time. That's a scenario where, for me, he's not known as a great defender. I think there is a huge opportunity for Missouri to attack him, and not even always directly. I think you can run, those backdoor cuts to where Dorius is the help defender and make him prove that he can get over quick enough quick enough, excuse me, to be in a position to defend those backdoor cuts. Demoy Hodge does that so often. He's good for one or two of those a game. I see him just backdoor cutting, Dorius being late, and Hodge getting a layup or free throws or an N1. I think there's a huge opportunity there.
One of the things that's standing out to me, in all honesty, is I think this could be a potential game where Noah Carter could have his way underneath, because they're going to be trying to take away Kobe Brown. And the double team's coming, and he's kind of a player like Kobe in the sense that he loves the bully people around with his physicality underneath. And he plays a lot larger than he really is. So I think you could see him make a huge impact on this game and maybe take the pressure off Kobe, because now you have two of these guys underneath that you have to keep track of. And it could really open things up for Mizzou.
Yeah, and that's kind of reassuring with Missouri. It hasn't happened recently where they just can't buy a three, but there's a history of these teams, 3-point shooting teams, going into a professional arena and not shooting as well, professional style arena like Sacramento, and not shooting it quite as well. So if that were to happen to Missouri, they might actually be able to lean on the interior game, something they're not really used to being able to do. So that is a unique situation for Missouri, and maybe a needed one. And it leads me, David, into my key for this game, which I think is going to be Mohamed DIARRA. I think if DIARRA can be effective in both rebounding and just enough of a threat to where they have to respect him. Utah State has to respect his offensive game. They could be in a position where maybe they have Dorius out there with Aiken, or maybe they move Aiken over to guard Mohamed DIARRA, and then that gives Kobe Brown a mismatch either with Bairstow or somebody else that he can bully around on the interior. I think DIARRA would take away some of the flexibility that Utah State would use defensively.
All right, yeah. So my key to this game is driving to the inside and scoring in the paint. One of the reasons I'm saying that as my key is I think Mizzou has a real opportunity to create a lot of mismatches underneath. They're a very good one-on-one team, and they've shown that in games like Tennessee when their three-point shot is not falling. They start playing their one-on-one game, driving to the basket and forcing things. They can be a force to be reckoned with. It's worth noting that I said there are 5 guys on their team that are scoring 10-plus points. What we didn't mention is they have a 7-man rotation. So if you drive and force the issue and they start getting into foul trouble, that could be huge in Missouri's favor, because they have nobody on the bench who can come in and fill those roles. And if that happens, Mizzou could easily take over this game. And if they start off driving, eventually they're going to start sucking in the defense, which will open up the 3-point shooting, and they can really take off on offense.
Now, as for my pick, I think it's, you look at the matchup, everyone's initial thought, up and down 3-point shooting. I think that's what we're going to get. I think it'll take at least 80 to win, probably more. I'm going to go with Missouri to win. I think it'll be very close. In the end, I've got Mizzou by 5, 6, something like that. Close game.
I just see this game as a game that Mizzou can really take control of because of their size and their physicality and running the gauntlet in the SEC. The SEC is no joke when it comes to physicality. So I'm not sure Utah has had to play teams like that. So it's going to be real interesting to see how Mizzou game plans and comes out in this one. I am picking Mizzou to win this by more than 10 points, in all honesty. I understand Utah State has a great 3-point shooting thing, but I just don't know if they can hang around long enough due to Mizzou's style of play and their physicality. So let's hope Mizzou pulls off the victory against Utah State, because they have that 2-seed Arizona next. And with their style of play and Arizona's lack of being able to prepare for it, it could be a real entertaining game with a possible upset and moving on to the Sweet 16.
Arizona does turn the ball over a lot, just saying.
So with that in mind, everybody enjoy the tournament. It's dancing season, and here's hoping we get to do a couple more previews. But until then, thanks for watching Under DIARRA Sports.